Hi everybody, my name is Justin Stoney and I'm the founder of New York Vocal Coaching here in New York City. Welcome to episode 90 of Voice Lessons to the World, the show where we want to help you as singers by answering your questions from all over, and I'll give you a chance to ask questions later, but our question for this week comes from Santeri S. in Turku, Finland, and Santeri speaks for the thousands of emails we've gotten on this particular topic. Dear Justin, can you teach me how to do the whistle voice? And yes, Santeri, I think that can be arranged. But we have to know that the whistle voice lives in the stratosphere. It's out of this world. And this is part 5, the last stop on our Vocal Register World Tour. So pack your space helmets, pack your space suits, pack your space boots, because we're about to go boldly where no voice lesson has gone before. We're going on a Vocal Register World Tour. And so, dear singers of the vocal universe, the time has dawned on us to answer this epic question that has been posed to me so many thousands of times. And I promise you by the end of this episode, you will be able to do the whistle voice. But before I answer this epic question that has been asked of me, let me ask a question of you. Why, dear singer, do you want to do this whistle voice? The reason I have to ask you this is because whistle voice is not nearly as important as it is popular. And I know that people start to get this kind of thinking in their head. Mariah Carey is famous. Mariah Carey is pop star. Mariah Carey does whistle voice. If I, singer, do whistle voice, I will be famous pop star, great singer. The answer is not really. Whistle voice isn't used for that much stuff. You hardly ever hear it in songs. It doesn't really help your vocal technique. It doesn't help your vocal style. I want you to think of whistle voice as a blip on the radar of your vocal technique. At very best, it's a parlor trick that you can impress your friends with. But it's not something that we really use in our singing. I would have you focus on your breath support, your larynx control, your mix, your resonance, all of these things, and make whistle voice a very, very small part of your vocal life. So now that we've had that little talk, let's get to it. We're going to start by comparing whistle voice to our other vocal registers. In our Vocal Register World Tour, we've had 5 parts, and I'm going to illustrate these 5 vocal registers using 5 octaves of my own singing voice. So we'll start down in the basement with chest voice. And then next octave we'll use mix. Mum. And then the next octave I'll use falsetto and a little bit of head voice. Mum. And then the next octave I'll use flageolet with a little bit of falsetto as well. And then to go even higher into another octave, we're going to use today's topic, whistle voice. And so then you can see that the voice can extend to quite big ranges. Now, we didn't talk about vocal fry. We have a whole trilogy on that if you want to go back. We can do, actually, you can even maybe get a 6th octave down there if you develop your vocal fry. But you can see that good vocal registration allows us to have quite a massive range to use. So let's talk about what is this extension? What is this whistle voice? Well, you heard it for yourself. Whistle voice is the highest of all the vocal registers. There's nothing that goes higher. But we talked last time about falsetto and flageolet and how the cricothyroid muscle stretches the vocal folds to their maximum extent. So you'd think that whistle voice would stretch the cords even further. But no. Actually, whistle voice is produced differently from all the other vocal registers. Most of our vocal registers have the cords vibrating. Sometimes we call this the mucosal wave. But not whistle voice. In whistle voice, we actually lock down the bodies of the cords. The vocalis muscle helps to lock down the bodies, leaving a space in the back. And we're actually literally sort of whistling through the backs of the vocal folds. This is what makes whistle voice the most appropriately named of all the vocal registers. I mean, you and I are travel buddies on an entire vocal register world tour. We know these terms aren't so great, and we didn't come up with them. What, chest voice? Has nothing to do with my chest. That's thick vocal fold mass, yo. Head voice? Well, everything resonates in the head, so what, is everything head voice? I don't think so. Mix? Well, that's a pretty good term, but it confuses everybody. Gotta go back to episode 40, episode 88, just to make any sense of it. Falsetto? Well, there's nothing false about that. In fact, I hope you do it every single day of your life. But whistle voice. Yes. Now there is a good term for a vocal register, because when I whistle, what vibrates? Nothing. And when I whistle with my vocal folds, what vibrates? Nothing. I'm whistling with my vocal folds. So Justin, can you stop talking about registers and tell us how to do this? I just did. There's a secret to it. And when you know this secret, you will be doing your whistle voice in a matter of seconds. Manny Cooner, can I get a little drum roll? The secret is inhale phonations. That's right, inhale phonations. Can you believe it? That the mistake we might have been making in trying to learn our whistle voice is breathing out. It's natural to breathe out when we sing. But with the whistle voice, it's actually easier to first learn it breathing in and then later breathing out. That's because it encourages the tops of the vocal folds to touch instead of the bottoms of the vocal folds. And since there's nothing vibrating, it's just air moving through a chamber, it's just like whistling. We can breathe in, or we can breathe out. With my whistle voice, I can breathe in, or I can breathe out. And I can get my whistle voice either way, but it's actually so much easier with the inhale phonations first. So I'm going to take you step by step through this on how to do it. Here's step one. First, speak with an inhale phonation. Inhale phonations are rather easy to do. You just breathe in and talk. Breathe in and talk. So try this for me. Hello, how are you? I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking me with your inhale phonation. Now, step two, let's add some vocal fry. You remember from our vocal fry trilogy, vocal fries beneath your chest voice, just a very gentle creaking sound. Ha, ha. Very nice. Now let's try it with the inhale. Ha, ha. Excellent. That's going to help shut the bodies of the cords. Now, step three. Let's kick it to falsetto and flageolet. Last episode, we talked about falsetto and flageolet and how that helps us to stretch our vocal folds. But what if we take our inhale fry and just sort of think about going up into falsetto and flageolet? We get a... Try it out. Great, and already starting to get some of those squeaks that take us up into whistle register. So now, step four, pitch matching. Once we've established our whistle voice, we need to get to a piano and make sure that we're not just squeaking, but we can actually sing real notes. And then, once we can do that, step five is to create some vocal exercises. Just like any part of our vocal training, we start off with exercises to build things, and then we later can do it with songs. So whistle voice is the same. If I can do an exercise, then I'll be able to have that kind of control when I have to do it in a song. Of course, there's not that many songs that use whistle voice, but if we can do an exercise, we know we're going to have that control. Now, you're probably wondering, is all this whistle voice healthy? Well, you already know my opinion on whistle register. It's cool, but it's not that necessary of a voice to learn, not for technique or for style. But I know you guys, you'd be messing with it with or without me. So I hope that these tips help you to do it as healthfully as possible. It's kind of like with rasp though. We'll cover that in the future. If you don't need to do it, then don't mess with it. Remember, we're shutting down the vocal folds, not letting them do their natural vibration. This might not be so great, so be cautious, be conscientious. If it doesn't feel right, if it's fatiguing, if it's making your voice sore, then stop. Do something else. My real suggestion is to focus on the first 4 parts of our Vocal Register World Tour. You need to learn those registers. So spend 99% of your time on that and maybe 1% on this as a little extra bonus. And that's it. That's the end of our Vocal Register World Tour. So, I salute you on this great job that you've done on our travels together. And there's a lot more travels that we'll have together in the future. So, Santeria and all, if you've got questions that you'd like to see answered on a future episode of our show, you can send an email to questions@voicelessonstotheworld.com. And you know I encourage you, don't lose the joy, don't lose the passion. Don't let people tell you you can't sing. You and I both know that's not true. Get with a great voice teacher near you, or if you're in New York or you'd like to Skype with one of our staff, you can visit us at newyorkvocalcoaching.com. If you'd like a vocal course that you can do in the comfort of your own home, check out the Voice Lessons to the World vocal course, a 12-part course that takes you on a singing journey from beginner to master level vocal exercises. You can find that at voicelessonstotheworld.com. And if you'd like free vocal tips sent to you every day, you can sign up at dailyvocaltips.com. I'm Justin Stoney. Until next time, make a joyful noise. Welcome to episode 87 of Voice Lessons to the World, the show where we want to help you as singers by answering your questions from all over, and I'll give you a chance to ask questions later, but our question for this week comes from Carlos G. The mix is a very intricate coordination. The CT, cricothyroid muscle, lengthens the chords. The TA, thyroarytenoid muscle, shortens and also tones the chords.